Welcome to the CSITEd Experts Data Science A to Z Theory and Programming Bootcamp. In this short video, I will show you how to validate a data set and how to take care of missing data. So in one of my previous videos, actually I discussed how easy it was to do statistical data analysis with SPSS. That, as I discussed, that there is a statistics library built in, so that you can use that library to calculate mean, median, mode, standard deviation, variance, and a lot of stuff, right? So that was easy. For instance, I discussed this program in one of my previous videos. But these are cool and very simple, right? Okay, but for instance, you see that if I open my salary data set, if you see that it has 50 50 rows and 2 columns. Okay, but one thing that all values are apparently valid. That means there is no missing data. You see that I have all values over here. Well, look at that, both columns. Okay, I see that I have all values available. There is no missing or invalid data in this data set. This is why it was easy for me to calculate mean, median, mode, standard deviation, and variance. But think about a situation that if your data set is not perfect enough. For instance, if you have, for instance, here I do have experience in year is 0. That is fine. A new graduate may not have any previous experience to enter into a job, but think about some situation if this value would be negative. So a person experience cannot be a negative, right? Okay, or even it cannot be a missing value, right? So but in real life, when you work in a big data analysis, then you may not get your data readily available that will be completely valid. That means you may get some data that may be invalid. That means, let me show you, you may get some data that may have some missing values. They may have some missing values. So that in that case, for instance, let me show you what I'm going to do. That, for instance, let me get this libraries, and this is invalid salary data. I have this invalid salary data within my data science A to G folder and data validation in this folder. If you see that I have, okay, you cannot see here actually data validation here. Okay, so if I show you my data validation, I have my invalid salary data. This one is my invalid salary data. If I open it up, you see that there are some missing values, right? There are some missing values for my experience. So this data set is not valid completely. That means it's not perfect. So even a person has no experience, it should be 0, but it should be 0. But you see, this is missing. This is missing for salary, annual salary. So this is missing. Experience is missing here. Annual salary is missing here. So throughout this data set, I have intentionally deleted some cell values so that I could get this invalid data set. Now in this video I will show you how do we fix this problem. So that means how do we validate this data set by making of this inval missing data. Okay, there are several techniques to solve this problem. One of the techniques could be just by deleting the cells, deleting the entire column which has missing, but that is not a good way, right? So in that case you might lose some important information. So just in order to validate your data set, just deleting the rows or column or cell is not a good way, right? So we need to take care of it otherwise. So what I'm going to show you what is first how to do that and what are the convenient ways that I can do it. Okay, so let me close it. I don't need to save it. So here in this problem you see that I already have some missing values. So in that case, if I want to measure my experience, okay, you see, let me get my experience like this way and experience this way, that you see that my data set, if I print my data set also, I can see that it has some NaN, that means some not a number. NaN means not a number. There are some missing values. If I open my salary data set over here, you see that NaN lowercase, that means not in number. These are missing, actually empty. So you see that these are some NaN, okay, in my data frame, and also in my output I have uppercase NaN, not a number. So I need to take care of this definitely, otherwise the problem is that I will show you what will be my problem. Can you please guess? So please pause this video for a second and guess that what might be my problem. Okay, for instance, if I run, okay, so I have my experience is the first column with index 0 and with all row values. Okay, so this is my experience, and you see that if I print experience, then I will get all of my experience values with some NaN. Okay, so then did you guess something? Yes. So if you want to want to find or calculate the mean of this value, right? Can you get a mean? No. You see that if I want to do that, it's showing me my mean is NaN, not a number, because I do have some missing values. Okay, similarly for experience, I will have same thing, because for my salary I will have something, because there are some salary missing, right? There are some salary missing. Okay, so in order to do some basic statistical operations, I need to take care of these missing values. So okay, that as I mentioned, that it is not a good way to delete these cells, okay, or to randomly make up these values. Okay, that is not a good way, but we should follow a standard way to validate this data and make up the missing values. So there are several ways to do that. Okay, one of the ways is that I will show you to take the mean value or take the median value for this. In this case, since I cannot find the mean value, so I cannot put the mean value to all of the missing places, right? So I can use, luckily since I have median over here, so I can use this median value in order to make up the missing value. So values, so this is one of the way. Okay, so I will show you in this video how to do that. Okay, so let me open this one again. So now let me open my invalid salary data again, import my data, and let me print this. Okay, I already showed you my salary. Also I have for my salary I have not a number mean. Okay, so the same case for both salary and experience. Okay, so now think about a second, how can we fix this? Okay, let me clean out my console, okay, and my variable explorer, and let me come one by one from the beginning. I will show you how to resolve this issue. Okay, so let me execute this part until this. Okay, so you see that I have got my mean of experience is not a number, and but luckily I have my median values as 5.0, right? So I can use this median value in order to make up these missing values, right? So let me show you, but before I go to that way, let me do some basic other calculations, for instance, so that you become used to. So here you know that my experience size is 50, right? 50 rows I have here. So with this size I can say for I in range experience size, that means 0 to experience size, that means 0 to 49, I want to print my experience I. If I do that way, see that I am getting experience 0 equal to 0, experience 1 equal to -1, and something like this I'm getting, right? So this is good. So for instance, let me show you, let us see how many experiences are negative. So I can say if experience I less or equal to 0, then print my experience equal to whatever experience I do have. So this code will print all of the negative experiences. Okay, that's good. Okay, now I see that for if I do this, let me show you how many have 8 plus years experience. So only a few have 8 plus years experience. Okay, now this is the statement we will use. So in math libraries, so I have to import math. In math library there is a method is called is NaN, is not a number. So this method will reply if this argument is not a number, then it will reply a true value. How can I see that? If I select this and then press Ctrl plus I, okay, then I will see that this function in math module, it will return true if x, that means this argument is not a number, and false otherwise. So I can utilize this method to my checkpoint. So if this is true, then I can say experience I equal to statistics dot median exp. Okay, then let me run this. Then okay, right? So I got if my this experience were actually 9, 19, and these were actually negative, no, missing. So now these were make up with this median values. So now if I explore my variable experience, you see that I got the missing value made up. You see that these are the missing values, I got made up. Okay, but if I go to and if I go to my data set, you see that these missing values for the experience has been made up, but still I have missing values for my salary. Okay, we will take care of that later. Okay, so now if I want to run this and now you see that my recalculated mean I got 5.08, and my recalculated median is 5.0. Median is unchanged. Okay, so now it's good. So now at this point, if I run it, print my exp vector, then you see that we have made up the missing values, right? But still I have some negative values over here, okay, that need to be made up, right? So then it is your homework, it is your task. So to try to do this, so you need to do something here. You need to put another condition over here. For instance, if math.ins experience equal to, okay, if this or this value is less than 0, then you can do this. So I think if you try yourself, then easily you can solve the issue that has the negative experience. You can just take the absolute value of these cells, and then you can, by taking absolute values, by putting absolute values, then you can easily solve issues. In that case, you will need to do another for loop. For instance, live if exp, let me help you like this, exp actually like this, less than what, less than 0, right? Then you can put what you will put, then expi will be absolute of expi. You need to put this way. Okay, I think this should work. If I do run this way, then you see that negative values are gone, and then if I see my experience, then I will see all negative values have been made up. So now if I run this recalculated mean and median, then I will get, you see that my new recalculated mean is now good, right? Okay, so similarly you need to take care of your missing data or invalid data for your salary, because salary cannot be missed or cannot be negative. Okay, so these are the codes, these are my codes that if I to take care of this way, then I see that, let me show you first. I have still my means, salaries mean will be not a number. Then these are my code. Maybe if I execute these codes, then I should get my missing values made up, and then I got my mean and median. Good. So okay, but this is your homework, and please try it yourself. I'm not going to explain this because these courses are pretty similar to the previous course. I think you will be good to understand. Okay, so similarly I have another data file in this folder. I have another data file. It's called invalid Titanic data. Okay, invalid Titanic data. In this Titanic data set, you see that, do you see anything that seems to be invalid? You see that this value is there are some invalid data even in this column that I selected over here. You see that? Do you guess? Yes, you are right. The negative values of age, right? The negative values of age, because a person's age cannot be negative. Okay, it cannot be 0. That means it in here if it says 0 point something or something, but it cannot be negative. So for instance, in this case, if I want to measure, for instance, mean or median of my age for my Titanic data set, then I will get a mean that is not a number, that is a number, but you remember that this mean is not accurate mean. The reason is that there are some invalid data in my data set, right? There are some invalid data set, there are some invalid age, that means negative ages, so that definitely would temper my my result of mean, because or also median maybe, because you cannot get your mean negative, your age is negative. So once you have negative ages, so when you sum this up, then you will have reduce your value, so definitely you will lose some points and your mean will not be calculated correctly. So then in this case you need to fix your problem. Okay, how can you fix it? This is an easy way. For instance, I showed you previously that if for instance, if you run this code and then you see that you will get your recalculated mean. Let me show my recalculated mean over here, 29.89. and what was my previous mean? My previous mean was 28.62. although this is not a big difference, but this is different, right? Okay, but this was invalid, and but this is that the recalculated mean is definitely valid. But how did I take care of that? So it's easy. If my average okay, so A is invalid I, this one is my A's matrix is vector. It has, if it has any cell or row value is less than 0, that what I am doing, I'm printing that, and I am also making it absolute. That means I am taking off the negative sign. This is a good way. So you can, so I think it is straightforward and you should understand that. Okay, so that is good. Okay, so you can do that. Okay, so that is a good way. That so sometime you will use mean, or you will use median, or sometime now if you have your mean, right, then you can use mean or median reuse to make up the missing values. Okay, so in the last part I will show you another example, another problem. Actually what I'm going to show you, I'm going to show you that sometime you need to, before you finalize your data presentation or data analysis, you need to check up your data first. That is called pre-processing or data validation, or missing data taking care of. Okay, sometime this is a problem I had. For instance, this is very simple that I discussed in my previous videos. Okay, I want to generate a 10 random data set. Okay, 10 actually is 10 rows and 4 column. Actually 10 by, actually I want to generate a 10 by 4 data set. Initially I want to populate wall with 0, then I will have row count will be 10 and column count will be 4 over here, right? Okay, and this is my initial random data set. Is all will be oops, actually I need to it says name np is not defined. That means I need to execute this statement. Now this will be fine. Okay, now I have 10 rows and 4 columns, all initially 0. Now look at here, I want to populate the first column with independently initialized data set, okay, with this normal distribution. Okay, this normal distribution, as I discussed previously, Gaussian distribution, it has, what do you understand from this? It has mean 16 and it has standard deviation square root of 100 equal to standard deviation 10, right? With by height, I want to simulate my height, I want to generate my height with this normal distribution. That means my height will be, for how do I do that? Height will be my column, first column, and my second column I want to do weight. And how do I want to make up my this height? By this normal distribution with 16 as my mean and 10 as my standard deviation. Okay, similarly I want to assign my second column as weight and with this normal n, randomly n. 25 is my mean and 225 is my, okay, 225 actually 15 okay, 225 is my variance, that means 15 is my standard deviation, right? 15 times 15 equal to 225. So now if I execute this, and then good, and I got my height and weight. Is that my height? These are my height and these are my weight. Okay, these are auto generated. Okay, but do you see any problem with this initialization? Look at again please, if in this data set, do you see anything, any issue, or do you see any invalid data in this data set? Yes, you see that there is a negative value here. Okay, you may not get this negative value, or you might get multiple negative values if you rerun this program. Okay, actually I want to run from this to this. If you rerun this, you might not get any negative values. Okay, but if you rerun this, you may see that you may find some negative values. You see that the reason is that my is not my imperfect this normal distribution. Do you see any problem here? The problem here is that it has 16 what is that called, mean, and with 100 with 10 standard deviation. That means the normal distribution says that, we know that from the normal distribution that that about 97% of your data lie within the 3 standard deviation. So 3 standard deviation will be 10 over here. So that means if your for instance, if you have your mean over here, and then your standard deviation, some values will be going to negative. So that means 97% data lies within 3 standard deviation. That means negative from negative 30 plus 16. So that means you will get some negative values. You might get some negative values, and here for same thing. Okay, your standard deviation is 15 over here. So 15 times 3 times 15 equal to 45. So negative 45 plus 25 equal to negative 20. So you may get some values around -20 from this data set, from this normal distribution. So there is a possible way that you will get some, you might get some negative values, but we know that a person's weight cannot be a negative, a person's height cannot be negative. So actually let me show you this standard distribution. So if you do it Google search, then you will get this applet. So if my mu is like what I mean 16, right? And then if my standard deviation is 10, then what will be my you see that this is my mean is 16, this is the top point, and you see that this is the 0, and there is getting some values negative. That is possible that this within this range I may have some negative values in my data set. And similarly for that one is 25, 15. So 25 will go here, 25, and then 15 will go here. So as soon as I press tab, you see that my 25 is here. 25 is here. So this is my top, okay, but this is my 0, and then I have still my range negative side, I have negative values, okay. But in that case, but if you had, for instance, if I had my 125 my standard deviation, my mean, okay, then I would not get that issue. So you see that there is no way in this case that I would get any negative value, okay. So similarly for that one I had 16 over here, so then and 10 over here, so then I do have some negative values. But if I would have 160 over here, then I don't have any issue, any possibility to get my any negative value. So in that case definitely I am getting some invalid data due to my my mistake in selecting my normal distribution, okay. So then I need to take care of this value. So how do I take care of this? Do I need to change my standard my mean or standard deviation in my normal distribution, or delete these pairs? No. You see that these are pairs. For every person there is a weight and there is a height, right? So if you delete this negative weight, then you need to delete also this height, corresponding height, right? So but there is a way, think about that. So it is easy. You can do many ways. In order to, you can do whatever you need and whatever perfect for your data set and your problem in hand. But one of the things that I can say that if I can run this row count, okay, this for loop, okay. So then this is my condition. If weight I less or equal to 0, then I will put weight I equal to absolute of weight I plus 50 something, okay. And else if this is elif is the Python format, elif if height less or equal to 0, then I can say height I equal to absolute of height I plus 20, okay. So then we are not dealing with unit, that is depend on it, maybe inches or in centimeter, that's not a big deal. But this is a way to fix my invalid values, right? If I do it, you see that, then if I do it, then now if I print my weight and height again, then recalculated, cleaned, which is called cleaned or processed, then you see that I do not have any negative values because negative values are changed, okay. So this is a way to take care of your invalid data. So Actually, data validation and taking care of missing data is an important steps in data processing and big data analysis and machine learning and data mining and statistical analysis, whatever you say. So this is an important topic that you must be master in this if you want to know and practice data science or machine learning. So hope this video will be a startup for you to give you some heads up. In this video I just showed a few traditional techniques in order to take care of missing values. For instance, why did I say traditional way? For instance, do you notice that in my invalid actually this one for my, let me rerun it again and then I will give you quick heads up. So for my this, okay, I'm sorry, I need to run this as well as again. For my this experience data set, I have negative, right? I have some missing. Okay, then I took care of it. Okay, then I saw that, oh, I realized that, oh, I have salary missing. I have missing in my same salary data. Then I need to take care of that separately, right? Differently, separately. Okay, then you know that what I wanted to show you, that even if I take care of this, my missing experience, still I have my annual salary missing data. So I need to take care of that separately. But think about this situation for a big data analysis problem. You have multiple columns, 100 or 10, 20, 30, 40 or 100 columns, that multiple vectors, right? So then in that situation, would it be a good way to handle all of these missing values one by one? No, there should have some different ways, efficient ways, so that we can take care of all of the missing values in one command. Okay, so in my next video we will discuss about that, how to do that. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching this video.